Today's highlighted coin is the 2026 Resurrection Christ.
The resurrection of Christ and the event that changed the world. Chris's recently released round, Resurrection Christ, is a glorious illustration of the reason why Easter is celebrated by billions of people around the world. If this singular event had not taken place, Jesus' legacy would have simply been one of prophet, not God. But Jesus did rise from the dead, and the world was immediately a better place. His teachings would eventually change the hearts and minds of millions of people while encouraging them to seek salvation through his lessons. Christ initiated what we now refer to as civilization. His teachings raised humanity out of the brutality and barbarism associated with the Roman Empire. But it took centuries to accomplish this feat of heroism. And it wasn't until Roman Emperor Constantine the Great became a Christian in 312 BC that the barbaric persecution of the Christians stopped. Prior to this fortuitous event, there was much suffering and death inflicted on Christ's disciples. And this torturous journey began with Jesus' closest companions, his 12 apostles. They included Peter, Andrew, James, John, Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, another James, Jude, Simon, and Judas. These men left their homes and businesses and lived with Jesus for 3 years while he traveled and taught his message of love, joy, and peace. After his death and resurrection, they preached, they suffered, and they died too. Christ's death proved to be a life-changing experience for all of his disciples. Some of his followers watched him die. Some buried him in a cave which was then blocked by a huge rock. Others wept in private, while others despaired in fear. No one could deny that Christ had died, but what would come next? As the days went by, the outpouring of grief displayed by his disciples increased and paralyzed them with fear. On the 3rd day, Mary Magdalene went to Jesus' gravesite. She was the first to discover that Jesus' body was missing from the tomb. On that first Easter morning, she had gone to Christ's tomb to complete the burial process. There she discovered an angel standing by the open tomb. According to Matthew 28:5-7, the angel said, "He is not here, for he is risen, as he said." But even while faced with the reality of an angel, her mind still didn't fully understand his message, so instead she ran to find Peter and John, telling them, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him." All of the apostles, except Thomas, had gathered in fear of the Jewish authorities in a locked upper room in a house in Jerusalem. This is where Jesus suddenly appeared before them for the first time. And this was the defining moment which left no doubt in their minds that Jesus was the Son of God. This revelation changed the course of human history forever. After Jesus' resurrection, he remained on earth for 40 days and appeared 12 more times to his disciples. But despite Christ's return from the dead, the apostles were still unsure of how to proceed. They lacked the courage necessary to begin to spread the good news. The dilemma was resolved when 10 days after Jesus had ascended into heaven, they were visited by the Holy Spirit and gifted with a deep sense of courage. The Holy Spirit also provided them with the gift of tongues. This allowed the apostles to speak many different languages with which they were previously unfamiliar, thereby allowing them to preach to many different ethnicities. Jesus' original 12 apostles then began to bravely spread his teachings throughout the Middle East. And to this end, all but John suffer horrific forms of martyrdom for their beliefs at the hands of the pagan Romans. But the courage of their convictions and their passionate preaching even unto death convinced thousands to follow Christ, despite the torturous efforts by the Romans to eradicate them. When the Europeans were finally exposed to Christianity, they were very receptive to the teachings of Christ. This was especially true for the monarchs who would prove to be some of the most devout Christians on earth. Their piety and devotion to their faith was not just personal, they converted their entire nation to Christianity as well. As the European countries began to produce expert sailors and shipbuilders during the 15th and 16th centuries, they also began to explore the remainder of the world. When they discovered the New World, they brought their Christian faith and their priests with them. Once settled, they preached the gospel to the natives. As a result, they literally spread Christianity's peace and tranquility across the globe. Chris's new strike, Resurrection Christ, reminds us of the simple majesty of the divine revelation on Easter morning that changed the world forever. He is risen. Alleluia.
Duane issues 2 new proofs each week that are available for a limited time. These proofs come in a presentation box with the certificate of authenticity, as shown here. They are also available in BU Brilliant uncirculated versions, which are only stamped once, and they come in copper as well. You can check out all Chris's Silver Shield proofs and all things Silver Shield on ChrisDuaneSilverShieldCoins.com.